Now with the most local news, this is 8 News Now, live local now.
10 o'clock here on a Thursday morning. Welcome to the 8 News Now streaming channel and the streaming newscast. It's John Langler with not Ozzy Mora.
No.
Good morning, not Ozzy Mora.
Maybe Ozzy cosplays as me on the weekends. I'm David Charles
Let's
here.
hope not, my goodness.
At 10 o'clock. More likely, I cosplay as her. We're starting a really busy news day here at 10 o'clock. You might have gotten that Amber Alert on your phone, and we do want to let you know that our sources tell us that that Amber Alert is likely going to be canceled in the next couple of minutes because there was a missing 10-month-old girl in North Las Vegas, abducted, police say, by her father, but our sources tell us that she is safe. Don't exactly know the details about that, but we do want to provide that update to you first.
You probably got the alert on your phone this morning, so hopefully there's some solution there, and we'll get some more details later on this morning. Meanwhile, to our big story from very early this morning, the implosion of the Eastside Cannery out on Boulder Highway. Let's take a look and listen.
There she goes.
And just like that, it's gone.
Were you awake to see it?
I was awake, but I didn't see it. I was getting
okay.
ready for work, but I knew it was taking place. The vantage point that we had from Sam's Town right next door, both owned by Boyd Gaming, of course, was quite spectacular. Our JC Fernandez was there live this morning telling us about it, and he saw it happen in the flesh.
A very nice, controlled...
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a huge building.
No, it's not. And they had taken a lot of the insides out. So.
Yeah, but obviously the Eastside Cannery closed during the pandemic in 2020, never reopened. One of those local casinos that really suffered because people weren't going out. And
what's interesting is, it wasn't really open that long. It opened in 2008, closed during the pandemic. As you mentioned, it never really opened back up again. But there was a time, and we'll talk about it with Sherry in a second here, but there was a time when the Eastside Cannery was a bit of a hot spot in the east part of the valley on Boulder Highway, but it just kind of never stuck around after the pandemic, and now that land will be turned into housing. So if you drive on Boulder Highway and you're wondering what that empty spot is, it's where the Eastside Cannery used to be.
Yeah, I always used
longer.
to wonder. I moved here probably around the time it closed, and I always wondered what that building was.
Yeah,
and
me too.
Now I don't have to stare at it and wonder anymore because it's gone. But some of that, I swear, when I was driving in here at 8 this morning, I swear some of the smoke was still lingering in the air. Maybe.
The wind, as we'll hear from Sherry in a second, the wind's been kicking up a lot of dust anyway. So it may have been from Eastside Cannery, but it might just be, mesquite. I mean, who really knows? So we'll get to that in a second. But talking more about implosions, we've had a lot of famous ones, of course, up and down the strip, elsewhere in the valley of resorts. So we thought that would bring up our question of the day about imploded resorts around town. Which imploded resort would you bring back? Now, that's just a sample. There have been a lot more than that. Obviously, those are just the ones that sort of on the tip of the tongue. The Tropicana was the last big one.
Right.
2
years ago now?
Yeah, it's been 2 years since that one came down. There's the DI, the Aladdin. Well, the Aladdin's on there. There's a whole bunch of them up and down the strip. So have your say. Which one do you remember from back in the day?
Yeah, and some of these are more notable than others, right? Like the Stardust, where Resorts World is now. That was a pretty big one. Did you actually see any of these when they happened?
I was
here.
Riviera, I was here when the Aladdin was torn down. I think I'm trying to remember. Sherry's with us, by the way. Hello, Sherry Swens.
Hey, you guys.
You've been here for all of the implosions through the years, of course. I moved here in '95, so it was right as they were starting to kick off. I think a lot of them. What do you remember about resort implosions?
Each one of them is memorable for their own reasons, right? Their own specific reasons. Some of them had fireworks. Some of them. I don't remember any of them that did not really go according to plan. I'm trying to remember if that was one of the coolest ones to me was the Landmark, which is where the West Hall of the Convention Center sits now.
Yeah. So you were here when that happened?
I was here.
Yeah.
Yes, and we covered it live that night.
Just on the street.
It was just so cool because it was such a unique property that looked like a spaceship on a spire. It was so bizarre, and it just went shk.
And then over.
It was crazy, right?
And they used it for a movie, right? Mars
They did.
Attacks.
Yes, Mars Attacks. For me, the Stardust, I have a lot of memories of being in the Stardust. So it's that one, and I love the Stardust sign. It's close to Channel 8.
That's the real reason.
And it's in the signs in Resorts World. Some of the they have
There's a replica
sign.
of it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was the real thing. Who knows?
The Neon
because
Museum
I think
too.
the Stardust sign is actually in the Neon Boneyard.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
isn't
of course.
It?
Yeah,
It
of
lives
course
there.
it's in the museum.
But all a little different for different reasons, and you remember different performers that performed at different properties through the
Yeah,
years. So
it's cool.
I get kind of sentimental about so many of them.
Yeah, and it looks like most people, or the majority of people right now, saying Stardust is the one they remember. And we should keep in mind the the Royal Resort, which is just around the corner, will also be imploded at some point, literally in our front yard.
Yeah.
Here on Channel 8
One of
Drive.
these
So
days.
we'll see another one of these. Pretty crazy to see, though.
Well, let's get Sherry to the weather forecast. David was mentioning the dust that may have still been in the air. Probably not from the resort, but it's just kind of one of those windy, blustery days.
Right, and definitely between 2 and 3 a.m. when we were coming to work, John, that was part of the dust that had accumulated and spread from the implosion. But I think now we're under a dust advisory for the day because of these strong northwest winds, and they've been blowing and going. They started about midnight, just when we expected they would, and this is the Rio, which another notable property that's been in town for a long, long time, decades, not imploded, still going strong. Somebody needs to let Penn and Teller know that if they are going to implode it, they need to find another place to play. The flags are definitely blowing out there. We've had 30, 40-mile-an-hour winds. Temperatures slow to warm up today. That was a cold front moving through southern Nevada, and it has made a notable difference on our temperatures. So just in the low 60s now, but look at these sustained winds at the airport, close to 30 miles an hour. So a very strong northwest flow behind that cold front, which is now kind of moving into Utah. It did produce a little snow, and there are some snow showers up into Utah. But for us, it's the cool and the wind, and that's what we'll live with here over the next couple of days. Just a little reminder, a little taste of winter, that it's still around before spring arrives here in a couple of weeks. So wind advisories widespread over all of southern Nevada and surrounding areas. And the National Weather Service is picking up on a stronger system coming in on Saturday that's going to regenerate the wind machine. So they just went ahead and extended the wind advisory all the way through Saturday night at 10 p.m. So if you got outdoor plans for your Saturday to kick off your weekend, know that it's going to be quite windy again, 40-plus mile-an-hour winds, very possible. So gusty winds today, temperatures tumbling at least 10 degrees from yesterday's upper 70s. So mid-60s, slightly below normal today and tomorrow. We'll inch our way back into the 70s this weekend. And also, we spring forward into daylight saving time. So get a nap in where you can now, because we do lose that hour of sleep over the weekend. And then next week, we're right back to some warmer low 80s. So we'll be running the AC again by next week.
Can I take a nap now? Is that allowed?
You guys
Go
always
ahead.
need a nap.
Yeah.
I don't know if
David and I'll talk, John. You just cat
fair
nap
enough.
for 10 minutes.
Thanks, Sherry. Let's get to some other big stories here on a Thursday morning. A couple from here in Las Vegas stuck right now in the Middle East because of the ongoing conflict between the U.S., Israel, and Iran. We heard from Todd and Lisa Eggleston yesterday. They traveled to Israel just 2 days before the war started. Now, the U.S. government has helped thousands of people leave the region to try and get out of harm's way. But so far, the Egglestons say they've called the helpline provided by the federal government. It's not working yet. They're trying to find their way out. So far, no luck. They're going to try again. Their flight is scheduled to leave Israel March 24th, which is still several weeks away. They want to leave before that, obviously, because things keep accelerating over there. Just this morning, the Israeli military stepped up attacks on Lebanon, where Hezbollah is based. President Trump says he wants a say in who the next leader of Iran is. Not sure if that's actually going to happen, but the ongoing volley of strikes back and forth, David, continues.
Yeah, and the government, because flights aren't going out of the airport there, they're actually bringing people to other countries, Lebanon, Egypt, to then get out. So unfortunate situation there. An unfortunate situation at the Flamingo that we brought you here yesterday and that we've been covering all day, a really big story that has gone viral online. A tourist from Canada came and visited us. What happens here, unfortunately, didn't stay here. Well, he has stayed here because he's now in jail, but you're seeing pictures of a stolen flamingo from the Flamingo Hotel. This 33-year-old Canadian tourist allegedly went into the flamingo habitat there. Of course, that's what they're known for at that property, and took one of the birds, injured it. These are still images from the arrest report we obtained. It came pre-redacted with his face with the box over it. We didn't do that. But what we can't see in these pictures is apparently that Flamingo in these videos was squawking and making noises and was in pain. So he now faces 4 counts of felony animal abuse for this bird and some other birds that police say he injured in there. And judge yesterday set bail at $12,000. He's still in custody at CCDC. And remember, because he is an international tourist, there could be ICE implications. They did take his passport. So you never know what's going to happen in these cases, but certainly I don't think he expected to end up in a Vegas jail when he's here on vacation.
What's interesting also is these are pictures that someone else took. It's not like these are security camera pictures. These are pictures from
their video. I think they're Snapchat videos that they got off his phone. So that's a good point. Someone said, how did they have a camera in his hotel? And it's like, no, someone took the video. So I don't know where that person is, but please leave the animals alone.
Absolutely, my goodness.
And not good. So we'll keep on following that for you as well.
More 8 News Now at 10 after this.
Now with the most local news, this is 8 News Now, live local now.
Welcome back to 8 News Now at 10 here on the streaming channel. It's John and not Ozzy.
It's not Ozzy. It's David today. I
and
guess
forever.
I can be the fill-in. But
let's get to the ongoing controversy and the situation with tariffs. Of course, a key part of President Donald Trump's economic policy and his trade policy. You'll remember not long ago there was a federal appeals court that ruled, and the Supreme Court has also ruled in favor of companies that called the tariffs illegal. And the Supreme Court said that the responsibility of tariffs / taxes is in Congress, and the president and the White House are fighting back on that. Yesterday, the U.S. Court of International Trade, a judge ruled in favor of companies, those import companies, getting tariff refunds. Billions of dollars in some cases of money that they had to spend on import tariffs they're supposed to get back because the tariffs, according to the Supreme Court, are illegal. This is the second court defeat recently for the Trump administration on this policy. It's not the end, of course. The White House and the administration intend to continue to fight this and find other ways to try and impose these tariffs on trade to try and punish other countries for deals. But a very interesting ruling that came yesterday in the International Trade Court, one that I'll be honest, I didn't know existed, but certainly holds a lot of sway when it comes to the complicated dealings of different countries when it comes to commerce.
Yeah, and remember, the tariff is essentially a tax,
Yeah.
and these companies then pass on that tax, that added cost, to the consumer. So you might have noticed if you're buying something and some places have an additional shipping cost, or sometimes you're redirected to another website. What's going to be really interesting is now up to the federal government to figure out how to give this money back. And then if you're these companies, are you going to then go back through every order and give back to the consumer? And not only is it a government nightmare, but it's really a PR nightmare for the Trump administration, because it shows that we did end up paying all this money. So it's a big problem, and people do want their money back.
You've heard from the Trump administration, they intend to fight this. I don't think their battle on this regard is over yet, but watch this space, as they say.
One thing that we've been certainly watching is what's going on in Henderson, and the latest twist in the city council drama down there is Councilwoman Carrie Cox is now suing fellow council member Jim Seebach for an alleged battery that happened 2 years ago. So you may remember that name, Carrie Cox. She is facing felony indictment for recording a fellow city council member, Monica Larson, last year at a city council meeting. We showed you video of that happening, and she does face a felony charge, though she has pleaded not guilty. Now she is filing this battery lawsuit against Jim Seebach, former assistant sheriff of Metro, current council member there, saying that he battered her during a meeting 2 years ago. Not much information more than that, other than he says that this didn't happen, but our reporting yesterday called it a skirmish between the two of them. And obviously there's a lot of drama on that city council, and this is just the latest ripple there, John.
I believe Councilman Seebach referenced council member Cox's other legal issues that are lingering around as a motivation, that it's purely political, is what he says. But that still is ongoing, the criminal case against her for, as you mentioned, recording allegedly Councilwoman Monica Larson. So as the Henderson City Council turns,
who needs soap operas on 8 News Now when you can just watch Kyle and James's reporting?
We go from Henderson to downtown Las Vegas, and the City Council yesterday approved a new apartment complex to be constructed in sort of the gray area between the Arts District in downtown and where the courthouse is, and the Huntridge District where the theater is, and Maryland Parkway. The complex, 6 stories tall. It's an apartment complex with an underground garage. This is at 7th and Gas. If you know that area, there's a lot of old homes there that have been turned into law firms and marketing companies and things along those lines. But this is a sign of the changing of the neighborhood, or they've changed a lot of the zoning there to try and encourage growing up instead of out, and maximizing that property in a very popular part of town. No word on a groundbreaking just yet, but the project's been approved at least, and we'll see where the developer goes from here. There have been some delays with major projects downtown. There's the Midtown project as well in the downtown area near the Arts District, which was announced and agreed to. Nothing's happened on it yet, though.
Yeah, and it's really exciting, though, to see some of the projects that, we talk about these projects and they're happening, and now that new hotel down by Symphony Park is open. They're building the art museum. There's so much building. So some of these areas where unfortunately there are a lot of empty lots. We saw a lot of the properties that Tony Hsieh owned for all those years. Those are empty and blighted. So it would be really, this is a move in the right direction. And, the mayor and the council certainly have a vision that is coming together and interesting to see. We talk about our aces a lot here on 8 News Now, and there is a strike looming in the WNBA, and the season could actually be delayed if they don't come together with a contract with their union by March 10th. That's just in a couple of days. We're going to bring in Daryl Harris on this one. Daryl, what's your title here? You're the producer of this show. You're a sports reporter. You do the Sports Rep Daily. What should we call you?
Is it Daryl of all trades?
Yeah, I'll have to get back to you on that.
UNLV grad
who
who
succinct one, but
UNLV graduate, by the way, who came as a producer and has ascended the ranks here on 8 News Now. So
Thank you, David.
Great job, Daryl. But what's really interesting about the WNBA stuff here, I got to give props where I can, is that we're talking about these pay discrepancies. We've talked about it before. Caitlin Clark, her salary was discussed publicly a couple of years ago. In this reporting, you're talking about Asia Wilson. She only makes $250,000.
Yeah, which is the
We were
most.
talking about her sneaker deal yesterday, and I mean, I'm kind of appalled by this.
Yeah, and that's the most that she can earn. Under
That's the most she can make.
CBA, and that expires. And what's decent and is exciting is that the new proposal would vault her to $1.3 million immediately this next season. So it's supposed to begin in May 19th, I believe, is the tip-off date. However, there's been no collective bargaining agreement. This is a year-long plus negotiation cycle that has not reached a conclusion. They now have 5 days. March 10th is the deadline, the league says, for a deal to be in place without at least postponing the start date. However, if this continues to be unsettled, the season itself entirely could be.
I feel like we just had this.
But if they're negotiating in good faith, could hypothetically both sides be like, all right, hey, we're still talking, let's at least play while we continue to try and hammer this out?
Yes, they could. Well, it's too
Anything's
complicated
possible,
because they have expansion teams that are supposed to be joining the league. So there's so much business. No offseason business has been tended to yet. 80% of the league is free agents because they knew this summer, supposed to be offseason, was where all of the changes in finances would come in. That hasn't happened yet, so they have to have new team drafts for 2 new teams and address free agency, have a rookie draft, training camp. So could get pushed back and they can still play. We'll see if that shortens it or if they extend it, but it's been going on. We've been covering it extensively on Sports Rehab Daily. They have an offer on the table that they could accept. It could change any day at this point.
Longest winter break ever. We'll keep an eye on it. Daryl, thank you very much. More 8 News Now after this.
Now with the most local news, this is 8 News Now, live local now.
Welcome back to our 10 a.m. streaming show with John Langeler. I'm David Charnes. We do want to let you know that North Las Vegas police did confirm that that child that was the subject of this morning's Amber Alert was located and that father was taken into custody. So good news there. All right, switching gears, there is a plan for a new hockey rink coming to the Northwest Valley. This is right near the 215. And John, I'm going to let you talk about this because you care so much more about hockey than I do.
First, let's get to the question of the day.
We're talking about our question of the day.
We were talking about
jumped the gun.
We were talking about the implosion of the Eastside Cannery this morning, so we wanted to ask you, what imploded resort would you like to bring back? We know there's more than this. We didn't put other on there because the other resort has not been imploded yet. But here's the list. You can see Stardust, I think, based upon Sherry's recollection, is right now winning with 40%.
Yeah, I'm not surprised there. I wouldn't mind if our building got imploded and we had a new studio.
Wow. Okay.
But we're right alongside with them.
I mean, we're trying to move the Hughes house, not blow up the building. Goodness. Have your say right now, 8newsnow.com. You can use the QR code, which doesn't exist on the screen right now. But have your say. Tell us about
8newsnow.com/vote.
Dig into the history of Las Vegas.
All right.
Okay, now let's talk about
hockey.
City of Las Vegas put a very interesting post online yesterday as they were talking about, you see right there, that is the site of potentially a new hockey rink on city-owned land. This is up near Wallapai and the Beltway on Deer Springs up in the Northwest Valley. City of Las Vegas announced it's accepting bids for this new ice rink complex. Obviously, that's not an ice rink right there.
That's not a rendering that they provided.
Still very much a work in progress, but they've reached out to companies that handle these kind of ice rink complexes to say, hey, do you want to have a say in this? Maybe you'd like to take part in this. We know the Golden Knights, of course, operate all of the major rinks except for one in town, City National. They operate the rink down in downtown Henderson as well. We'll see what happens with this one. They also operate the place on Rancho too, the Hilo Park rink. So coming soon to the Northwest Valley, a part of the valley that doesn't have an ice rink right now. When I was a kid, the Santa Fe Resort did have the only ice rink in town.
Is that where you played?
Yeah, when I was a kid, but that rink left. So this will be a way to spread skating elsewhere.
What's so interesting is, when I moved here, you wouldn't think that hockey would be the dominant sport, at least with our culture, right? I had friends visiting from Chicago. We ran I ran the 10K a couple weeks ago, just a little bit. And they were saying the national anthem and everyone screamed night. And my friend looked at me and I'm like, hockey's big here. And this is just another sign that people want to play hockey and not necessarily the other sports. So interesting to see.
And in this case, the city's getting involved too, which is a bit of a change as well. Coming up this weekend in Jean and in south part of Clark County, the Mint 400 is back in town. The legendary desert race returns to, the desert. The racing starts tomorrow. The qualifying is today. This is yesterday as
Look at those cars.
The off-road cars drove up Las Vegas Boulevard. There's a big party on Fremont Street taking place today, all weekend long, in fact. Last night was the parade and the pre-race party. The racing is Friday and Saturday down in Jean. The Mint 400 has an long history here in the Valley, David. Back in 1968, there was the Mint Hotel on Fremont Street. They sponsored the race. I think it was
changed.
The name change. I forget what it's called now, but it's
just trying to stay
else.
with the theme of the day.
Yeah, I know. The race went away in 1988, came back in 2008, and still is going strong down in the south part of the valley.
Where do they do it in Jean?
So it's all in the desert. So if you're on I-15, east of I-15, that whole desert area there, they just turn into a big racetrack. You go up through the mountains and stuff and get nice and dirty. That's the idea anyway.
If you're interested in that.
Yeah, Mint 400. It's a big race. That'll do it for us this morning here on the Mighty and Powerful 8 News Now streaming channel. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you back here at 2.